Howdy. Why am I doing this? So, where's my head at? I don't know. Let's see. Yesterday I got Dream Journal, which I had equally strange dreams last night, but I cannot remember any of them. I didn't remember when I woke up either. They're just gone. Not much to report, really. Still just playing Death Stranding. Got confirmation that my absentee ballot was accepted today, so that's good. I have officially voted in the runoff election. Patriotic duty fulfilled. Plenty of garbage going on in the political world that I don't want to talk about, because it's just going to make me upset. Wrote an angry tweet at Mitch McConnell today. Literal slab of sentient pudding that he is. No, not really much to talk about today. It's not to say I've done nothing. I've done a lot of Death Stranding. Went back to the first area and just have been dicking around there. Tried my drone out again today. Managed to fly it out and back in the window a couple of times. Though, I'm not sure why. It fixed itself shortly afterwards, but at first, the controls weren't reacting in the right direction. It was like I'd launch it, and pressing forward would make it go forward. Then I'd turn it, and pressing forward would continue to make it go forward in the direction from where it launched, if that makes sense. So it's like if it was locked into forward being north, pressing up on the stick always moved it north. So getting it back in the window that time was a miracle, honestly. And the second time I clipped my speaker here, I actually have footage of that one. I might splice that in here. Yeah, sure, why not?
I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you. If you're happy, then I guess I'm happy for you. You're so funny, and they love everything that you do. And since you're happy, you could never be blue.
Now I just gotta figure out what kind of music I want to put that to, which you already know. Just gonna probably do more Redbox. Why? I like Redbox, for starters, and for second, like I've mentioned before, Vinny's gone out of his way to make sure that none of his stuff's ever copyright claimed. So far, this series only has one copyright claim, not a strike, just a claim, and it was the day that I was morbidly depressed, so I ended it by playing that Skull Trumpet remix, which is apparently just a song. Oops. But I didn't block it anywhere. So that's the only thing I don't like. Like, I'm not monetizing this. I don't have the traffic to. And even if I did, well, if I did, I probably would, even though I probably literally only make pennies. Every fucking penny counts these days. But my biggest thing is, out of the 3 or 4 viewers this gets, you know, one of my most loyal viewers is my friend in Germany, who watches every single one of them. And Germany's one of the places that really likes it. It's like, it's one of the places that usually gets blocked fairly easily. You have North Korea, China, Iran, for some reason, or at least in what I've got on my channel that I've noticed, and then Germany are the big, like, places that just get blocked every time anything is picked up. North Korea for obvious reasons, China for obvious reasons as well, and then Germany is just really strict about copyright. So that's a problem that YouTube has had with Germany for a long time. I don't think any of my videos are blocked there. Granted, like I said, I'm lucky in that, like, Nintendo hasn't claimed any of the stuff I've got up, which makes sense considering most of it's Metroid, and Nintendo seems to give less of a crap about Metroid every year. The fact that we got Samus Returns at all was a miracle after Other M and Federation Force, which I still stand by is a fine game, but it either needed to not be a Metroid game, or it needed to come out after something like Samus Returns, and it would not be as universally, like, panned as it was at the time, because it was just, because at the time we had that quote from Reggie giving us hope, saying that there was a traditional 2D Metroid in the make, as well as a Prime-style Metroid. And when Federation Force came out, we were all like, if this is the Prime-style Metroid you people have been touting up this whole time, I'm going to flip a bus. And then buses were flipped. And then the director came out and said, you should stop flipping buses because this is what you want, and I'm going to tell you why it's what you want. And then we flipped the bus again, because that was stupid. Like, I'm all for them just releasing the game anyway, but to put together, I think it was a 20-minute direct on why we were idiots for not liking this game, which is what they did. Of course they did not say that, but in so many words, but that's the tone it had. And it was just like, no, you dumbasses just don't understand what this game is. And I'm going to sit here and explain it to you. And it was exactly what we thought it was, and that's why we didn't like it. But then it came out, I found it dirt cheap because nobody wanted to touch it, and it was fine. It was fine. Did it need to exist? No. Does anything need to exist? Nah. But this especially didn't really need to exist, or like I've said, and I'm repeating myself again, if it had came out after a legitimate Metroid title, it would have been better received. But the fact was, this was the first thing we'd had after nearly 8 years of silence, I want to say? 8 or more. And it's just like, after 8 years, Metroid's back, and it's a bunch of weird little chibi dudes running around in robots. And it's just like, oh, this is fine, but no. And then Samus Returns made everything kind of okay again. As far as, I think it sold decently. But I think it was a, you know, obviously looking back on it, there's very little enemy variety, it gets really samey, you know, that kind of thing. Legitimate criticisms. But at the end of the day, you know, people either loved or hated the counter system. There didn't seem to really be any people that were just like, yeah, it's there. They either loved or hated it. But like, you know, the world was redone nicely. I really liked the redesigns of the Metroids. All that good stuff. And the other bottom line being, you know, Nintendo delivered a sort of reimagining of Samus Returns, and around the same time, about a year before I think, AM2R came out, and instead of like, Nintendo did at least wait until it was fully completed and released to say, hey, take, and then after that they even waited like 24 hours to say, hey, take those downloads down. Nintendo, I feel, knew enough to know it's out there now, and they can't really stop it. They can stop the official downloads, but they didn't go after the guy personally. They didn't issue a cease and desist before the project was finished, and even still, they technically don't have a cease and desist on AM2R. Just you've got to dig a little bit for downloads, and on it, they're not that hard to find. And while at the time it seemed scummy, it made a bit more sense because all that happened before the announcement of Samus Returns. So like once they announced Samus Returns, I was like, okay, still kind of scummy that they killed this fan project that hundreds of man hours from one dude has gone into, but you know, at least it makes sense considering. Like, I highly doubt they whipped up Samus Returns in a year. So obviously it was in development at the time that AM2R released. So fine. The guy literally beat them to their own game, and they said, hey, look, we kind of own this and you do not. But he avoided legal action, you know, like nothing too serious came of it, thankfully. And like I said, you can still find it pretty easy. And I think he's still updating. And like for a while, I think he did some updates. I've watched Vinny play it close to release, and I played through a solid chunk of it about half a year ago, and it seemed like there was some, like, either my memory was garbage, or I encountered at least 2 bosses, one for sure, that I don't remember Vinny fighting. So it was either optional and Vinny missed it, or it was added later. Considering we're talking about Vinny, it's probably the former. But at the very least, I know he did some like bug fixing and stuff like that after the fact that has seen circulation. Matter of fact, while I'm talking, I'm going to look up and see what the official version is that I have, or the version that I downloaded the latest is. But yeah, so that made a little bit more sense at the time. What's the latest version I have? Oh boy. See, this is the problem with using Windows Explorer for from lighting, basically. I had things set up to icon, and the icon stretched all the way to this middle screen, which is currently not on PC, and to over there. So I had to change it. I don't think it's here either. I think I have it on my external. Yep, here it is, AM2R. I still have the original release. But I also have 1.4, I believe that says. I can't read it because it's tiny. I think yeah, that's still a little too small to read. It's AM2R-14-3. So I'm not. Yeah, so the original one is just 14-1. So I guess it's basically 1.3. I don't know why 14. But anyway, I almost closed that window and that would have killed all the light. That's not what I want. But anyway, gosh, that was a rabbit hole. How did I even get on that? M2R Federation. No, I don't know how I got it. Oh, I was just talking about how Nintendo doesn't seem to care about Metroid. And what I mean by that is, like, they're going hardcore after Mario soundtracks and Zelda soundtracks on YouTube. Like ruining entire channels over a couple of music strikes. But not Metroid. They don't seem to care about the Metroid soundtrack because I have full playthroughs of all 3 Prime games and Fusion up on my channel, and those haven't been touched at all. I also have pieces of, I say pieces, I have like up to partially through Chapter 5 of Thousand Year Door, and they haven't claimed any of that. And I even have a couple of episodes of Other M from when I tried to play that game, and it just made me upset and sad, and so I stopped. Funnily enough, I have some of the first Hyrule Warriors up there too, but I guess like outside remixes like that, as well as Age of Calamity, because I've used that music in the background at times. Nintendo doesn't really care about. They're just worried about their own published and developed music, which is weird because well, actually, I don't know. I don't know how much of the Age of Calamity team was directly involved with with Breath of the Wild. It feels like the music producer was, or if not, whatever composer they got did really good nailing some Breath of the Wild music. Have mercy. Like I've talked about this on here before too, I think, but like the first Hyrule Warriors had good music. Don't get me wrong, it had good music. It had some really fun remixes of some tracks. I specifically liked the remixes of the Twilight Palace from Twilight Princess, obviously. Temple of Droplets is the track name, which is a remix of the Water Temple, I believe, from Ocarina of Time. And then there's Guardians of Time, I believe, which is... It plays at that game's version of the Temple of Time, and I'm not sure what the source is for that, but it kicks tail too, as well as it's got some kick-ass music in it. But like, maybe it's just because Age of Calamity is more story-driven, and so these tracks are more tied to story feelings, if that makes sense. Like, aside from the Lost Woods theme, which is from Age of Calamity, which I love because I like the original so much, and the new one, just, the remix of it just basically took the original and added extra instrumentation to it and turned it into a fuller piece. Not that it wasn't complete before, and variants of Mipha's theme did this, like, honestly, all of the Champion themes. But then there are others that are more original, that I feel resonate with me so much because I'm tied to the more story-driven moments. And by that I mean, I remember, it's even, I'd say I remember like it was more than a month ago when it wasn't. But it's like, when I hear them, I remember the feeling that was going on at that point in the game, where, like senses of urgency or triumph or desperation that the original Hyrule Warriors didn't really give me. The original Hyrule Warriors is, yes, I am playing a game. It is a good game. I am doing what the game tells me to, and it's fun to do these things. Breath of Age of Calamity was, I am directly invested in these characters. I'm directly invested in what they're doing. I want to do it as quickly and as efficiently as possible for them. You know, or this is, you know, so like very specific high tension points in the game. Again, I think it just comes from being more attached to the story. So it's like, Family Jewels was interviewed, I want to say a couple of months ago, by Alex Modella, an Italian music producer and composer that I follow on YouTube, who does some really fun stuff. I should link him. He's gained a lot of traction recently, but could always use more love. Found him through analysis of Persona music, and then just fell in love with his style, because he's just a dude that, you know, you can tell music is in his blood. It's his passion. And people that are that passionate about bricklaying could make me invested in anything. If like some dude was on YouTube being that passionate and you know, excited about brick and mortar, I'd be into brick and mortar for that guy. I wouldn't watch it anywhere else, but he's educational and he's having fun with it. He's good at what he does, obviously. I follow a plumber. Just some old dude from Texas who seems like a genuinely good guy, and he makes it interesting. Like, the right person can make anything interesting, and Alex is one of those guys. But anyway, Jules was saying I don't know if it was a recent realization, but he pieced two and two together finally on why game soundtracks resonate more with players than, you know, to him at least, a movie soundtrack might with a movie watcher or something like that. Because it's like you're listening to a song and it's like, oh, this is the song that was playing when Neo gained full control of his power or something. Or like, oh, this is the song that played when Luke finally lifted the TIE Fighter out of the swamp. But with game music is, oh, this is the song that was playing when I was doing so-and-so. You know? This is the song that played when I was raiding that giant camp. Or this is the song that was playing when I was killing literally thousands of things to save somebody. That, you know, so it's like, it feels like it's more directly connected to you, and therefore resonates more fully with a player than an observer. You just feel directly involved. You know, even though it's like, it might be music from a Mario game. It's like, oh, I remember this music playing when I was, you know, when I was playing this game, when I was doing this thing, this music was playing, and therefore, you know, it's more hardwired to us than. But don't get me wrong, an excellent movie or show soundtrack or anything like that can do the same thing. But there's something just from being more directly involved with the media, with the type of media, gives you a stronger connection to it. You know, of course you can create strong connections to shows or movies or whatever, or just songs or any type of art form, you know, based on your own experiences. And this is obviously subjective, but like for me, while I do have, you know, fun movie memories or things like that, some of my most hard ingrained and like ones that evoke the most nostalgia or, you know, passion or sadness even, you know, that direct connection come from video games, because I was doing them. I made that discovery. Even if it was handed to me on a silver platter in the game, it was still me controlling it. You know, I did the thing. You know, I remember when I beat the final boss of Thousand Year Door for the first time, and it was amazing for me, because like I rented the game and got like up to the second to last chapter, and this was a couple of weeks or maybe even a full month or so before Christmas, because like my birthday is early in November, and there's like this bubble. So there's this bubble that surrounded when I was a kid, like late September, that I really wouldn't get anything because, oh, you can have it for your birthday. And then, of course, I didn't get anything between my birthday and Christmas because it was either you just had a birthday or Christmas is coming up. So it was that nice little thing of just like, I didn't get handed anything. And my mom was nice enough to let me rent Thousand Year Door shortly after it came out. We had a movie gallery in town. We weren't even big enough for a Blockbuster that would fail later. It was called Movie Gallery. I don't know how big this chain was. But anyway, I rented it, played it, got up the second to last chapter, and then had to sit on that for a few weeks until Christmas when I could finish the game. And I just remember the music of that last boss is fantastic, the way the story plays out around it. Like, I have a visceral connection to that time. I have these visceral connections to when I'm playing games where if I've got something playing in the background, that imprints itself. And so, like, if I play that game in 2 years or whatever, I'm like, oh, this is fun. And then I'll remember vividly the background noise I had playing. And I was like, oh, the last time I was playing this, I was watching the Ghost and Mr. Chicken episode of Welcome to the Basement. Or, oh, the last time I was here, I was watching Vinny play Final Fantasy IX. He just got to Bermesia. I remember that. It's like these visceral connections that, like, I can't remember what I ate for breakfast 3 days ago, but I remember exactly what I was doing when I was last playing that part of a game when I'm in it. Now, I can't just pull that out of my tail. It's similar to not being able to remember the music lyrics of a song unless the song is playing. But just like, so that's like one of the things, like I guarantee 10-15 years from now when I'm starting to go senile, because I don't imagine it'll take much, I'll still pick up maybe Phantom Pain again for the first time in 10 years, be messing around in it and go, oh, I remember the last time I was doing this, I was going through a phase of, I think the last time I was playing Phantom Pain, I was actually watching Naruto. I think I was working my way through Shippuden. So who knows? That might be the connection. Oh, I remember the last time I ran this chapter was filler. Probably. That's a safe bet with Naruto. But yeah. Managed to ramble for a while. Guess I just needed to talk for a bit. I've been on edge a bit today. I think it's because I'm not sleeping great. And by on edge today, that just means I was jumping at every little noise for some reason. And the kids were over, and Liam is still in that phase where he will find the heaviest thing in the world that he can tote, move to the kitchen and throw it on the floor. And it sounds like gunshots sometimes. Because, again, I know I've mentioned that I live in a double-wide trailer before, and while it's similar to most homes, it doesn't sit directly on a foundation, loud noises on the floor carry really well, because there's a big chunk of hollow space under the floor. So you hit that, and it's like hitting a drum, and it reverberates throughout. Like, the good news is, if my dad ever gets out of bed and, like, falls really hard, I'll probably hear it, despite him being clean on the other side of the house. But I remember growing up, my dad worked swing shifts, and if I was running around in my room, I'd wake him up. He's a light sleeper. But the noise just travels that easy. In fact, his recliner is kind of messed up, and it makes a loud noise when he puts the footrest down, and it sounds like someone's falling on the floor because of how hollow the floor is. So, like, a lot of those noises might as well have been gunshots to me today. And then we're still going through this phase where there's ladybugs everywhere, and I don't know how they keep getting in my room. Either that, or there's one in my room, and it won't die. And I don't know why. And I can't get. I've tried to catch it several times, and it manages to run away. But like today, I was playing Death Stranding. It had just gotten dark. It was very dark. I was going through an area and cleaning out some BTs because I found out an easy way to take care of them that I won't go into spoil too much. But they drop a lot of a certain resource when you do take care of them. So here I am surrounded by these things, and Ladybug lands right here, and so I'm like visceral, like being shaken awake levels of jump, and I was like, ah, it's a ladybug, and I was fine once, because it's just a ladybug. And then I finally had to get him off because he was like running to my armpit and it was tickling. He was distracting me. He's still in here somewhere. He landed on my phone screen the other night when I was in bed. Him or another one, I don't know. And I'm fine with, that's like, I'm not afraid of bugs. I just don't like spiders on me. The more legs they have, the more uncomfortable I am. And apparently 6 is a safe amount. When you get past 6, that's when it starts getting weird. It's like dogs, cool, 4 legs, got it. Certain bugs that just have 6, that's fine. You get into 8 legs, alright, that's a few too many, don't like that. I'm glad we don't have house centipedes here. Because I imagine I would hurt myself over a house centipede. So I don't envy Vinny. Anyway, I imagine this is probably hitting like 30 minutes, so it's nice to get a good long one in, and not do so in a rush, because there's the ladybug. There he is. He's on my moon lamp. Can you see him there? There it goes. Yep, just rolled over 30. Anyway, alright, so I'm gonna wrap this up for now. Maybe try and catch that guy and get him out of here. He'll probably get away from me. Catch you guys later.